Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Dungeons and Drafting, a literary podcast with four epic authors and an occasional guest join forces to combat evil and talk about all things publishing and the creative process, all while playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Tom Torre.
My name is. Do I go?
There you go. Go for it, Brooks. We're keeping this live. We're going for it. We're good. Keep going. Keep it going.
Clear. Abort.
3, 2, 1, Brooks.
I'm not editing this. Just go. You're good. You're Brooks. Brooks, it's your turn.
And that's all you need to know.
That's Brooks.
Dax, go.
My name is Brooks Benjamin.
Sean, pretty
I'm
sure
the
that's you, bro.
author of my 7th grade Life in Tights, and I'm from Tennessee and obsessed with Adventure Time. That was Adventure Time noises.
I like it.
I'm Sean Easley. I write middle grade fantasy adventure. My book is The Hotel Between, and I live in Texas where it's always hot and just always.
And he has no water.
And I have no water.
He's parched. Right?
None at all.
He's parched.
I am MK England. I live in Virginia. I write young adult fiction. My first book is The Disasters, and I really like space.
Ooh. Noises.
And
Space noises.
Of course, I forgot to say anything about myself. I live in New York. I'm currently on submission.
Too late. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. Who cares about me?
Tom, no, we do.
And thus we begin.
And the story begins. Okay. Yeah, I'm from New York. I write middle grade and young adult. I'm currently on submission. And yeah, that's me. Yay.
Yay!
So how's everyone
And
doing?
you're
tonight?
awesome.
I am awesome. I try to be awesome.
Yes.
I love you
And he's
guys.
an amazing artist as well.
I doodle. If I'm ever in a meeting and you want me to draw something, just let me know and I'll doodle it in like 5 minutes just because I'm bored during work. So yeah.
You're a good doodler.
I doodle.
You really
I hope your employers listen to this.
I don't care. I really don't. Go for it.
Tom get a raise. Please contact.
Yeah, if you guys want me to work at my job, give me more money and I might do my job. So there you go.
2 weeks later, Tom comes in. Yeah, I lost my job.
Guys, this podcast is full
And we all
time.
feel super bad.
we need to get this podcast in.
This podcast has to go live now. I have no income.
We have a Patreon now.
I'll provide a link below.
The Tom Ramen Fund.
Mm-hmm. So what's new in everyone's life? Because this is our first episode of Dungeons and Drafting. The viewers want to know what we're all about and what we're doing.
Cool. I talked to 128th graders today, and it was a lot, and it made me tired, but it was fun. And I turned in sample chapters of 2 new books to my editor a month ago, and her decision on those is due like tomorrow. I'm not thinking about it at all.
Nope.
Not at all.
I'm not
No
thinking
pressure.
about it at all.
No pressure. No anxiety. It's good.
Just life, you know.
Yeah.
Fun.
That's the thing a lot of people don't realize about the publishing industry. It's like super, super chill, like low stress most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't actually ever talked to a writer who ever felt like, a little anxious about writing or hearing back from others or agents. It's really normal just to like send something in. It's like, it's cool. It's out of your hands. So no, we need to worry about it.
Very
That was all
relaxing.
a lie, by the way. 100% a lie.
It's pure and utter panic. 100%.
All the time.
Am I in the wrong podcast?
Yeah, me and Sean are like, wait a second, I panic every day.
Sarcasm always goes right over my head. I miss it every time.
No.
Yeah,
We're
Sean.
here for the hugs, Sean. This is Dungeons and Therapy.
Yeah, seriously, my anxiety is 100% every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
I already feel like I don't belong here. Don't make it worse.
Yeah,
No.
I'm wearing a diaper right now, so. On that note, continuing.
Trying to think of something funny to follow it up with, but
Edit.
you nailed it. Really?
Well, so what I'm working on right now is I have what's called first pass pages for my second book, which basically means it's all typeset and I get to go over it and catch all the little errors that we missed on the 5,000 revisions that came before that. And so that one's coming out in September. And then
Yay.
this
hyped.
weekend is a conference. What's that? What'd you
I'm
say?
so hyped. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going back through it.
I love the hotel between.
It's really cool to get to this point and you're going through it and you're like, I still like this book.
That's awesome. That's a great feeling.
Because you'd think you would be completely done with it by now, but I'm still happy with it. So
It's fine.
Yay.
and then I'm going to the North Texas Teen Book Festival next week, so I don't know when this is actually going to air, but it'll probably be long.
Oh, this is live. It's airing now. So.
Oh, wow.
Time travel.
But that'll be cool because it's just a great festival. And then what I'm working on right now or what I'll be working on once I turn in these past pages is a young adult fantasy that I'm really excited about, and I don't want to share a whole lot of details just yet because as soon as I share it, it's going to be like I'm going to lose all my creativity. It's going to suck out of my.
Keep it secret. Just keep it safe.
Well, what I'm working on right now is another middle grade manuscript. I just recently got to the halfway point, so that's kind of a good feeling. But yeah, this one's all about the wonderful, awkward reality of going through puberty. So
Love it.
in my head, that sounded way better. Coming out of my mouth, it's like, oh.
Puberty.
It's funny though. It's like puberty, but like Mr. Rogers and fun and puppets and stuff. So I'm just kidding. There's no puppets.
Sorry, there's puppets. What? Bye.
I'm like stuck on puppets tonight. Like
Brooks is just talking
you
about
guys
sock
probably
puppets
know.
constantly.
Yeah, like, I'm like all about it tonight. So
Are you actually a sock puppet? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yeah,
You are personally a
That
sock
is,
puppet.
that is not
Brooks is
Brooks.
it's
lying.
like me talking. Yeah.
That is
I'm not an actual sock puppet.
I don't
I
believe
kind of
it.
wish I was though.
I think he's lying.
It'd be
That's why I
fun.
wear the hat. It's where the seam is. It just says Hanes right across the top. Does Hanes make socks? I don't know.
I think so.
It sounded legit. Go with it.
Under
Google
Armour.
Hanes socks.
I'll figure that out.
We're gonna need a fact checker at the end of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Hanes does not actually.
So I really like their podcast, but their knowledge on socks and bands was
Oh, guys, aren't you excited?
so I'm not going to watch them again. One star.
Unsubscribe. 1 star.
I'm going to donate negative $1.
All your books are going to get a 1 star because of this sock information. That's incorrect. What am I working on? I just submitted my last manuscript to my agent for review. Brooks, this is the one you read that I made a lot of changes to, but
Awesome.
that's being read right now. And I'm still on submission with my middle grade about Dungeons and Dragons, appropriately enough that we're playing
Yay.
Dungeons and Dragons. So we'll see what happens. It's in the hands of many editors, and I don't like
Thank you.
thinking about it. So I will not think about it, and instead we should play Dungeons and Dragons, so I don't have to think about my book about Dungeons and Dragons. That makes sense. So so we're gonna get into the game now. Since this is our first episode, I'll explain a little something to our viewers. We're basically integrating topics about the publishing industry into our games of Dungeons and Dragons. So we're working on a campaign right now that is bringing up all the topics that you've probably seen on blogs or other podcasts, but we're doing it in a bit of a different way. I'm acting DM right now, so I might be throwing a few surprises to the direction of our lovely group of authors right here. I've got
hate surprises.
I've got a few things planned for them that might be interesting. You may see their shocked faces on camera, like, oh. So who knows what'll happen? Yeah, exactly. Shocked faces. Thank you, guys.
I was just about to sneeze is all.
Yeah, just
That's
sneeze.
how
Go
I
ahead.
sneeze.
Bless you. And And the fun part is, if our players here are able to integrate anything regarding the creative process into the campaign as we're going along, I will award them inspiration for a job well done of being able to integrate topics into this lovely campaign. So, without further ado, let's move on into the campaign.
So this is how it works. We are 3 bards, each with our own unique abilities and pasts. Now, although our characters don't know each other, we've been thrown into a quest led by a mysterious woman named Elaria Feywing, a scholar in possession of a cursed 20-sided die. This die seems to be guiding us to give assistance to different bards scattered throughout the land, all while answering questions about our own writing, revising, and inspiration. Is the die ushering us towards some profound answers we each have about our own creative endeavors? Or is it steering us toward a danger that we may not be ready for?
Yes.
So you handing out inspiration, does that technically mean that you're our muse?
Maybe.
Aww.
Maybe. No,
Sounds like someone
not
fishing
at
for
all.
inspiration there, Sean.
He's our dungeon muse.
He is.
Just love me. Just love me.
For those that are listening to the podcast, can't see the video, Tom is crying a little bit now.
Many
But
tears.
it's still
Many
enough.
tears. So, the first part of the adventure, which the viewers didn't see, because we're going to post that actually as some bonus footage, our characters were a little bit lost in this unknown plane of existence, carrying these globes in their hands that seem to be filled with something that seemed familiar to them, but also unfamiliar at the same time. And a door opened for them, and these 3 people who've never met before are now entering the same doorway into a place that they've only heard about in legends. So this is a town of Parabor, and this town is known as the Crossroads. You never assumed it was real. The stories you heard of this place is a place where all stories seem to converge. It's a home to bards of legend. The gateways open up into this world, and what it does is the creators create these gateways that allow you to enter into each of their own worlds that they've created themselves. The thing is, you just don't know where to find these doors into these gateways. This acts as a sort of like I said, a crossroads into wherever you want to travel to. For more than a century, this woman, her name was Elaria Feywing. She was known as the gatekeeper in the Crossroads. She helped guide young bards in a way of weaving their imagination into songs, art, and writing. You don't know much about her and her past. She is an old elf woman, probably around 100 to 200 years old, which is it's old in your terms, but young in elven terms. And she's always considered to just be a wandering scholar and wizard, but the people in this Crossroads place know her as a legendary mentor. Many creators have attempted to find her, but only a few have made their way to the Crossroads and found their way back. She is rumored to train the legendary Sir King, the Lord of Thriller, and Lady Rowling of the Deep, who brought wizards to life, as well as many others who have go down in history as bards of legend. So you've just stepped through this magical door that previously opened to you. You actually find yourself in her office. You know this because there's a massive nameplate in the front of her desk that says Elaria Feywing in bold letters. So obviously it's her.
That's convenient.
Yeah, exactly, right? She's making it known who she is. She's sitting in a large leather chair behind her desk, and she's scribbling away on parchments and throwing each one on top of a pile that grows higher and higher by the second, basically reaching above her head. But she's really paying no attention to you. Behind her, there's stacks of books and bookshelves that just seem to go on for miles and miles. Like her office seems small, but the more you look at it, the more it seems to stretch out behind her. The first thing you notice upon her desk are just 3 wooden boxes that are placed in a line in front of her. And she's still ignoring you as you step in there, as if she doesn't even know you're there. She's just busily writing. And now I leave it up to you guys.
I admire her focus and wish I could write that quickly.
She's still just scratching away. She still doesn't even notice you.
Take a look around at some of the books on the shelves nearby, trying to see
Nerd.
things that she reads.
I knock on the door. I knock on the door frame.
Okay.
That's
So
so polite.
So she looks up at you for a second, and then she looks back down at her paperwork, and she's scribbling away some more. And she basically throws down her pen, and she lets out like a groan, and she just rubs her hands through her hair. And she's like, "Ugh, writer's block has taken over my mind again." She stands, and her layers upon layers of cloaks just flow behind her. It's like she's wearing basically 10 outfits in one. It's really bizarre. She has like 6 different coats, 3 different shirts. It looks like she has a few pairs of pants on. It's bizarre. She walks around her table. She's looking each of you in the eye. Her golden hair just frames her face, and you see these green orbs of eyes just looking back at you, like penetrating you. She cracks a little smile in the corner of her face, and she holds her hand up, basically silencing you before you can even speak. There'll be a time to ask questions later, because I know you have many, as do those who are watching and listening right now. That's right, you're not alone. I can sense all your imaginations, but yours in particular have called out to me. They're so powerful I've managed to collect things from your stories. She pats on the 3 boxes in front of her desk. Not many people are capable of materializing items from their stories, but it seems you're even more powerful than I imagined. You're gifted. She points to the globes that each of you are holding in your hands from when you appeared in the plane before this. Creation isn't always easy, and it is a struggle to sometimes even create the simplest tale. Sometimes you feel trapped. You want to release these stories into the world, but perhaps you cannot do it alone. It's not easy to create, especially when there are so many obstacles to overcome. I will do what I can help you, but first you must answer me this. Why did you choose to create these stories in the first place? What brought you to write them? And she leans back against her desk and she crosses her arms and she just looks at you waiting.
Stories helped me. I started writing when I was a kid because I was always in trouble all the time. I would sit in class and I would get bored and I would start doing things that would get me in trouble all the time. And to the point that like my 2nd grade teacher and the administration, basically they came around and said that I couldn't continue to come to school unless I was medicated. And so that went on for a while, and then my 3rd grade teacher realized that it wasn't necessarily that there was something wrong with me, but it was that I was bored. And she gave me a list of tasks to accomplish after I got done with my schoolwork. And then at first I didn't want to do them because they weren't for a grade. They weren't anything that would really be of benefit to me. But eventually I was bored enough that I tried one, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. And I realized that the more I wrote, the more all of the mixed up thoughts that were in my head kind of made sense, and I stopped getting in as much trouble all the time, and I just kept doing it.
When I was a kid, I loved stories. I loved stories more than almost anything else. And it was stories that made me feel powerful. You know, I was always that kid that had big ideas and big dreams and big ambition and, you know, nothing to channel it into. And it was stories that made me feel that way. It was stories that made me feel like the world was open in front of me. And, you know, I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to create my own stories and kind of contribute to that sense of adventure and that drive and that ambition. That's what I hope to do, at least.
I like that. For me, I didn't grow up around books at all. Where we were, my mom had a few books that she read, but there were books that never interested me. There were books that were more, I guess, the adult mystery, Agatha Christie, those kind of things. So I never was a reader as a kid. It wasn't until I got a lot older that I discovered my love of books. And it wasn't until a pretty traumatic event happened in my life that I discovered writing, because I decided just on a whim to write a scene that was kind of a what if. Like, what if this thing that happened to me was not exactly what it seemed, but it kind of led to something that could make me feel better. And had no intention of actually writing a book, but after I wrote this scene, it kind of got this idea in my head that, taking these bad things that happened to me and putting them in story form, letting the character go through those things and letting my characters experience the things that I felt, actually made me feel a lot better, because then I could control what happened to my character. And sometimes I would actually find out ways that would help me cope with some of those things that happened to me later on in my life. I could, kind of move past them in a way. And from then on, that's been sort of one of the big reasons that I write, whether it be something that is going to make someone laugh, or cry or whatever. Everything I write seems to stem from, me wanting to dive into something that happened, find a way to move past it, and kind of sprinkle in a little bit of hope within the story for the reader.
It's really interesting to me how it seems like almost everybody who I hear talk about why they started writing, it's not just something that you decide to do. It's something that's very personal. It's deeply tied into who you are and how you felt at certain points in your life and what you needed at certain points in your life. And there's a quote I love to share over and over again, that I heard a few years ago from a guy named Howard Hendricks. And he said that thoughts untangle themselves over the lips and through the fingertips. And
I love that.
It's, to me, it's just like my thoughts don't ever really make sense until I write them down.
Yeah.
And there's something about putting words together into a sentence or a story, whether it be on paper or spoken aloud to a friend or whatever. There's something about constructing your thoughts into something that has structure that it changes the way you think.
Mhm.
It impacts you hugely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I remember myself, even when I was a kid, I was not the type of person to. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was older. I went to school for art and design. Like my major is cartooning, which is really weird. But going to school, I realized that I was not good enough to keep up with the people that were exceptionally good at being a cartoonist or a graphic designer. And one of my teachers, and I was lucky enough to be a student of some teachers who were comic book geniuses like Walt Simonson and Klaus Janson. Like Walt Simonson designed Thor, so I was able to be taught by the guy who created Thor, which is kind of crazy. And I told him, and he was the one who basically told me right off the bat. I told him like I can't keep up as an artist, and he's like, "Why don't you write?" He's like, "You," because apparently I had a knack for just telling a story in comics. He's like, "Why don't you just try writing?" So that's when I tried to do it, and even my wife tried to convince me, like, why don't you just pull away from the drawing aspect and just try writing? And I thought back to when I was younger in school, like I would just write to my friends, which is a really funny story. And the AOL days, I used to send a weekly story to my friends out of boredom, and I would ask anyone to like jump in and continue the story if they wanted to, sort of like a just fill in the blanks type thing. But no one wanted to do that. They just wanted me to keep going and write the story myself. So I just did that for the hell of it. And I always wanted to be able to log back into my old AOL account just to see if I could find those old stories that I sent to my friends, but I doubt I could. But yeah, ever since then, I just use stories now as a way of like writing about things I was insecure about talking about, that they were actually affecting me in a way. Because a lot of my stories, I bring up things that affected me, but it's not me I'm talking about. It's about my character I'm talking about. But some of the problems my character's facing are problems I face, like you just said, Sean, in life. And I use that sort of, it's just an outlet for me to talk about things I don't necessarily want to talk about myself.
I think it's cool that you guys know consciously that you're doing that. For me, I find that it's often not until the book has come out and I have shared it with other people that I suddenly go, oh no, oh God, that is me. That is so much me. It's just everywhere.
This is an autobiography.
I take it back. I take it back. My second book has that problem big time.
Cool.
So all of you,
A+ for being self-aware, guys.
It's so true though. It's like you don't realize it at the time. You don't realize because your brain is always working on stuff.
Yeah,
it's always processing things in weird ways, and it's so interesting to see. Like there was in the book that I'm currently, or the one that's coming out in September. I went on a little writing retreat to finish up the last half of it, and I was there for like 4 or 5 days. And on about day 3 or 4, I'm hitting the climax of the book, and I'm like, it suddenly just hits me. Oh my gosh, I've been like, this has been what I've been struggling with for the past like year, and all of a sudden it's all coming together into this huge like thing. And I'm sitting there on this couch with my computer in my lap, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's okay.
We love you.
Long distance hug.
It really
Yeah, virtual hugs, everyone. Come on, guys. We're supposed to be killing monsters, not crying.
Give me something to
We
stab.
are the monsters in here.
Yeah, we all have monsters inside us.
We're proving our worth to what's her name?
Elaria.
Feywing.
Yeah, Elaria Feywing.
Feywing.
Elaria Feywing just like this. That's all she's doing right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love all your stories. I award you each inspiration for excellent answers. So you could go ahead and do a +1 on your character sheets.
Good.
So Elaria looks at you, and she's nodding as you're all talking, and she smiles. I knew you had vivid imaginations, but just how powerful do you believe your imagination is as a creator? Allow me to test your abilities. So she motions for you to follow her downstairs, and it spirals into an open room of a booming tavern. Bards, both familiar and not, are sitting around telling tales and entertaining each other with music and words. Some are scribbling away at a table, while others are deep in thought, strumming on an instrument. As soon as you stepped into this world, your imagination has begun to alter the way this world and others exist. You may know this place as a crossroads, but the gateways are closing, and some are just vanishing. These bards are trapped, and they need someone to guide them. Perhaps you are meant to help these other gateways open and guide these creators. I can no longer do this alone. She beckons you forward again, and she leads you to the entrance of a stairwell leading down into the basement of this tavern. All stories start with a conflict, some simple and some complex. This particular conflict may seem typical, but we seem to have a problem here. A door has opened up in the larder, and something has come out. Well, a few things have come out, actually. Rats, and, well, a few dead things, too. But something is different about them. They were drawn through a door no one created, nor did I know of anyone who may have the ability to. It's dark, and it enters into only blackness. You see, the larder holds the stores for food and drink, so I can understand why the rats are here, but I don't seem to know what the dead are attracted to. Something else is in there as well. I've never seen such creatures so feisty before. I managed to get them contained by stacking up some crates in front of the door, along with setting up a few other things. But they'll soon eat through all of the other supplies in the door itself, and if you don't go down there to get rid of them, well, I'm afraid we might be in trouble. They're aggressive, and something is making them that way. Her green eyes twinkle a little bit with mischievous delight, and she adds, "Oh, and I've locked the door, but I don't know where the key is. My mind is a mess lately. I'm busy writing, as you can see. I'm sure you can find a way in, though." So she waves you aside, and she takes a seat at the bar over at the other end, and she orders a drink. The tender looks at you for a second, and then ignores you, and just puts a stein of mead right in front of Elaria. She takes a big swig and then looks back at you. Your first test is to see if you truly belong here. and you have to get rid of those things down there in any way you can. You may kill them if you wish. I see no harm in that, but let's see how far your imagination can take you. And let's see if you can find out what's causing them to go mad. I'll reward you for your troubles once you've gotten rid of them, and find out what's caused it. I have something for each of you, something from your worlds. And it's up to you guys now.
Well,
I say we form a jam band. See if we can get them like rocking out.
I love it.
Do it.
If it comes down to it, we can just throw potatoes at them.
Potatoes.
Well,
I assume there's potatoes.
Yeah, so right now you guys
There's
are
always potatoes.
you guys are still at the top of the staircase leading down into this basement area. You're still at the top level of the bar, looking down. So it's up to you what you guys want to do next. You can stay up in the bar, you can go downstairs.
I'm going to lean close to the door to see what I can hear.
All right, why don't you do a perception check for me?
All right.
You don't hear much of anything going on in there. Seems pretty quiet.
Sounds like wood.
Yeah,
Sounds a lot like wood. Guys, I think this door might be wood.
that is correct. It is a wooden door. You have that right.
I thought.
Let's go deeper with your description. What kind of wood?
Oak.
Very quiet wood.
I'm such a
It's a
jackass.
whispering willow.
I mean,
that
a
did not say a word.
bleep.
Hey, Jack Bleep! Just a reminder, this podcast is PG.
Which stands for
I'm
pretty good.
trying.
Pretty good. Pretty
Thanks for
good.
that crucial clarification. Cool, I'm gonna open this door now.
Ooh,
Okay, so how are you going to open this door?
Let's go for it.
So the door's
I
locked.
try the knob. Okay, the door is locked.
Yeah, the door is locked. That knob isn't moving.
Anybody feeling lockpicky? Otherwise, we can do it the old-fashioned way.
We could go ask for a key.
I'm sorry. I'm like, let's bust the door down. Let's pick the lock. Sean's like, we could ask.
Just ask for the key,
Can I-
guys.
Can I go up to the bar and ask for a key?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
oddly
Go.
enough, I don't remember logic being
Yes,
a part
you
of this
may.
game. But
Excuse me. Is there a key for this door or?
Uh,
Like,
yeah, the bartender looks at you is like, well, Elaria had the key last time. I don't know what she did with it. So
is she still sitting at the bar?
yeah, she's still sitting there. Yeah.
Elaria, will you help us
forced
out?
away into a pint right now.
Yeah, she looks back and she's like, I told you, I lost the key. I don't know where it is.
Oh, I missed that part.
Why don't you
I'm
pay
sorry. I'm sorry.
attention?
As you were. As you were.
I'm trying to drink here.
Can I break it now? I'm gonna break it.
You gonna break it?
I would like to break it. Except my strength is like a 8, so I probably don't break it.
Oh, you're trying
Anybody
to...
have like bonuses to thievy
Well,
things? Or
I've got knock. I've got the spell knock that allows me to actually unbar, unstuck, or unlock a door. Simple
oh,
lock on the door.
I was like, you're gonna knock on a closed door. What the hell is that gonna do? Like, let us in, please, rats. Use your little ratty tail.
With my
turn the knob.
magical knuckles, it will unlock the door.
Alright, so you're using knock.
I'm using knock.
Magic sounds. Do.
Okay, so
This one makes a really neat, intricate dubstep bass drum.
so you're using knock on this door, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you use knock on the door, and the door just swings open to the inside of the larder. So let me go ahead and reveal what you see right now in the larder.
I apologize in advance.
Okay.
Okay. never mind.
So
I blame you personally.
do you guys see the little opening right now on your screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that is opened up for you.
Cool. In.
Okay, so you take a step in, and unfortunately you hit a pressure plate right below your feet, and it
Excellent.
sinks right below your weight.
Yes.
You hear grinding in the walls as if something's being triggered within. And I need you all to do a dexterity check for me, please.
I can do
Dexterity
that.
saving throw.
Okay.
Boom.
Where is that?
And just go
On your sheet,
yeah, just your
under
sheet.
your proficiency bonus.
Oh, you just click it. Okay.
Yay.
Okay,
Nice.
you guys all managed to avoid these spikes that come out of the wall.
Hell
Apparently,
yeah, we just all do like double handsprings. It's great.
Yeah.
You can't
So-
see this, listener, but it's awesome.
So apparently she has set up these traps in front of the door just in case anything managed to get out. But yeah, you have no problem avoiding these spikes that come out. So let me reveal these spikes. Do you see them now
Ooh.
on the screen?
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
these spikes
Oh,
just
it went right
appear.
through me.
Yeah, but you have no problem dodging it. So these spikes just pull out and then pull right back into the
Limboing
wall.
right
Yeah.
now.
I do a really sick flip right over it.
Okay.
Land right here.
So now that something bad has happened, I'm gonna step inside and use fairy fire to light up
Right.
the stuff that's in a 20-foot cube
Okay.
in front of us.
So let me go ahead and reveal that for you. So
See what we're up against.
While
Sean,
he's
what does
doing that-
fairy fire sound like?
Yeah, I need a
What
sound
is it?
effect. I need a sound effect.
Lily.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I'll accept it.
And while he's diddly, I look over my shoulder, cup my hand to my mouth, and say, "Nice trap, Elaria." Loud enough so it
You-
rises above the mandolins and lutes.
You hear Elaria just belch loudly in response.
I respect that. I could drink with her later. Well, this is PG. Never mind. We'll drink orange juice.
Chocolate milk and
Chocolate
orange
milk.
juice. It's okay.
Chocolate milk and orange juice?
And orange juice.
At
Oh,
the same
God.
time,
That
mixed
is not
together.
PG.
That is
Yeah.
vile.
Mixed
No.
together.
That is no, sir. That
That's
is a
really
stomach ache.
All right, so Sean has illuminated the area, and you see 3 rats that have made their home right at the front of this doorway. They see you, but they're kind of blinded by this fairy fire light that has lit up the area. So right now they're at a disadvantage because they're like blinking away from this light that's shining right in their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, Sean.
Blinded by the light. Are we gonna play some awesome tunes for them? Are we gonna stab them? How we feeling?
I really want to pet one of those rats.
Also, just to let you know what you see now, 2 crates that are right in front of you, this one and this one, have holes. They have holes in it right now that only you have to be pretty tiny to actually fit through them, but you can squeeze through. But realize that the crates surrounding this whole area that you see are around 10 feet high. So Elaria did her work in trying to really seal off the area because obviously these rats in the forefront may not be the biggest issue at hand.
Okay.
Well, my companion here said he wanted a rat, and I would like to deliver one to him. Can I try and grab the rat next to me and throw it at his face?
That's an aggressive way to make friends.
Wow.
I'm helping.
Your friend, friendo.
Is this what it's like being your friend?
I am an excellent helper.
I bet you're a hoot at birthday parties.
Got your rat.
Think fast.
Yeah. Why don't you do an animal handling check for me?
I was
In the
thinking
most
dead.
literal sense of the word, animal.
I need you to do a literal animal handling check for me. All right. All right. So this rat is still blinded. Oh, you're picking up the rat right next to you, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go for the one
So-
across
so-
the room
yeah,
with
so-
my mind.
So this rat is still like blinking, and it has no idea that you're about to grab it. You just reach down, you grab it by its scruff, and you literally just toss it behind you. So this rat just goes flying into
Catch!
right into Nim. Right into Nim over there.
All right. I accept your offering of friendship. And I
We're
catch
best
the
friends
rat.
now, guys.
That's what middle grade is all about, right? Making friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
Guys,
found
we're
my
finding
place
out
in
who
the
sidekick
universe,
are
and
here.
it's with you.
I catch the rat in
Oh,
both
this
of
is
my
some
hands.
heartwarming
While
stuff
it's
here.
blinking, I whisper to it in mouse speak, cheep cheep, cheaper squeak, squeakity cheep, which
It's getting weird.
I know translates to "You have no enemies here. We are your friends.
I will kill you in your sleep.
I will not let her kill you in your sleep. You will not die. Not tonight."
Okay, so this rat is still confused as to where it actually is. It's obviously in your arms,
Right.
but the whispers are basically you're soothing it. It really does not understand a word you're saying, but you're still soothing it with the cheeps, and it decides to just hops off and basically goes to the back by the stairwell and just like curls up in a little ball and
Oh,
basically ignores what's going on. It feels safe in that little corner. It doesn't want to really be associated with what's going on in the other area of the room.
Good strategy, buddy. There's going to be some stabbing soon.
But at this time, the other two rats they've seen this one person come into the room right now, and they're not looking happy considering you just threw one of their friends into the room behind them. So
I was hoping.
I'm gonna need you to all roll for initiative right now because they're looking pretty angry.
This is not my fault. I just want you all to know that. Initiative. Bam.
Oh yeah, Sean, don't forget you got to click on your character first.
Grease
before
lightning,
it shows
go,
up
grease
initiative.
lightning.
Yeah. Okay, let me get the rats initiative on here. Wow, not bad, rats. You got a 20.
these are some aggressive rats.
These rats are pissed off. So the first one to go is Dust.
Yeah, how mad y'all gonna be if I stab a rat?
This
Well,
is
right
middle.
now, I don't
This is
know you.
middle
I'm
grade. No violence.
This is your story.
If I gently caress the rat with a sharp object,
Oh, that's fine. That's okay.
there will be no blood here. This is why I don't write middle grade. I'm gonna shift over here and I am going to gently caress this rat with my scimitar.
Okay, that scimitar basically just pierces through the upper shoulder of this rat, and it screeches out in pain because you've just stabbed it for some reason. It didn't do anything wrong. It was just looking pissed that you threw its friend behind it.
Spreading disease.
So,
It's a rat.
So you thrust your scimitar into its shoulder, and you pull it right back out, and it's bleeding pretty profusely from its shoulder blade.
I will use my bonus action to swing my second scimitar. Much worse. Wow. I managed to nick myself with that one.
So that strike just skims over his head again, but it collides against the wall because the rat was too busy reeling from his pain. It's kind of rolling around in pain, so you obviously just misread your swipe there.
It's sad.
It is sad. I can't believe you do that.
Moving on to Nim.
I feel like such a jerk.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to look to see what sort of grains I see on the floor down here.
What sort of what?
What sort of grains or materials on the floor down here in front of these boxes or
Okay,
crates?
just do what should you use? Just do intelligence check on that.
Okay.
Like investigation.
All righty.
Ooh.
It's grain.
All right.
So that's about it. It's just regular grain, good old fashioned wheat and barley. That's all it is for beer.
Made up for listening to that door earlier. All right.
This is definitely grain.
It's
So
grain.
what-
It's wheat and barley.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up some of that grain in my hand and deposit some into the pouch, the pack that I've got on.
Okay.
And then while I approach the rat that's near me, I'm going to give this cloaked figure that I don't know who just stabbed an innocent rat. I'm going to give this figure a very dirty look as I pick up the injured rat and begin feeding it some of the grain that I picked up.
All right, I'm gonna
Sorry.
have to have you do an animal handling check in that because this rat is kind of angry right now.
Oh, I get it. All right, so
It lets you pick it up, but it's not eating the food. It still looks kind of angry, but
okay,
it's no longer attacking, but it's still not looking too happy.
all right.
It's not eating though. It's not eating what's in your hand. It's just trying to get out of your hands.
I was just squirming.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Moving on to the giant rats. So the rat that's in your hands right now, Nim, it jumps out. It does not want to be in your hands, and
Okay.
it's going right after the person that decided to stab it the first time. It is pretty devastatingly angry at this person. So
Bring it on,
This-
plague bringer.
this rat just lunges forward and tries to take a bite,
I dodge.
and its teeth just clank against each other, and nothing happens. And the rat is just scurrying around in circles. The other rat charges forward and is just in a blind rage right now because it just saw its little cohort get stabbed too, and is attacking the closest thing to it, which is Wick, and he's going to take a little bite.
Ooh.
And is that a hit?
Hold on, I'm trying to move everything.
Probably.
I'm assuming it's a hit.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
All right. So that rat takes a huge chunk out of your arm and just like shreds a piece of flesh right off of it.
Yikes.
See, rats suck.
Oh, side note: do you guys want me to adjust your health, or do you want to do it yourself? You can adjust your health just by like changing the green icon above your characters. Yeah, cool.
Oh,
Oh. Okay.
And the last rat up top is just he's just walking around in circles, scurrying a little around, having some fun. Now we're moving back to
He's very
Wick.
cute.
Meanwhile, upstairs you hear Elaria. How's it going down there?
Everything's fine.
Oh, you
All
know,
fine here.
just making friends.
Thank you.
I
How are you?
She burps again. She's having a good time up there.
So the rat is on me now. Like it's attacking me for sure.
This rat is attacking you right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I don't have time for that. I'm gonna pull my short sword and attack it.
Yay.
Swipe.
Okay, that rat takes a pretty hefty hit right into the neck and shoulder area, and it cuts right down to the bone. That rat is pretty much staggering away from you right now. It can barely stand up.
all right.
Okay.
Moving on to Dust.
Yeah, see, Dust grew up in a tavern. We don't mess around with rats. You don't let rats run around down here and like your beer making supplies, okay? This is a problem. I'm gonna finish this beast. I'm gonna slash again with my ooh god. I am bad today. My sword is still stuck in the wall, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to, use my bonus action, swing with the other one.
All right, that connects. That one manages to finish it off. You get it right in a critical point of its neck, and that rat just collapses.
Suck it, rat. And then I'll go ahead and move as well to set myself up for next time.
Okay, moving on to Nim.
All right. Let's see. What I'm going to do is preemptively run up here past Nim, because I don't know this Nim. This Nim is a stabber and a bite receiver. So I don't know. This Nim individual might have rat
Wait,
rabies.
aren't you Nim?
Oh, wait, yeah, sorry.
I was like, wait, aren't you Nim? Are you talking?
No. This Nim person might have rat rabies because inside my pouch I have a pet rat already. Wick. This Wick individual. I was like, why does it not sound right? All right. So this calm giant rat up here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my pet rat from the pouch, the one that I've named Finn, and I'm going to introduce Finn to Jake, who is on the floor right now, and I'm going to see, along with some grain, if they're going to be okay together. They're going to babysit one another.
Okay, do another animal handling check.
All right. And I promise y'all, I'm going to get some bloodshed happening.
Yeah, so your little rat hops off your hands and basically curls up next to the giant rat that's in the corner. That giant rat is pretty much not going to bother you guys anymore. He's pretty much content with staying by the stairwell. It didn't seem like it wanted to attack you in the first place, and now it's just pretty much content with your little pet rat inside.
Awesome.
So he's pretty much out of the. He's just hanging out back here.
Cool.
Okay, moving on to the giant rat. This giant rat, not looking good. So he's gonna flee into the hole in the crate that was right in front of you guys, and he is making a daring escape out of there. You hear him screech really loudly, and this loud, deafening screech that was a lot deeper than the one that came from that rat just echoes throughout the larder and seems to shake the crates in front of you. You don't know what it was, but something's obviously behind those crates.
Ooh.
Can I make an acrobatics check to try and clamber over them?
Yeah, of course.
Woohoo! I do some awesome flips and air kicks on the way up. I do not. No, sir.
I'm really eager to hear Tom tell us what happened.
Okay. I
mean, it wasn't that bad.
I was hoping you'd make it. So you basically bound off one crate, then the other, and your hand grips on the top of that last crate, but it's only one finger that's grabbing on, and you just find yourself falling completely backwards, and you just land with a thud. And you don't get hurt or anything. You're just lying prone there for a second, thinking about what you've done wrong with your life and how it brings you this. So you're just gonna have to sit there and think about what happened for a second.
I use a free action to be sad.
A free depression action. One thing you did do by grabbing onto these crates, these crates are kind of shoddily put up together, so they're not really like locked in place. You could possibly push them over.
Cool. I thought you were going to say they were full of rats. So
no, you're okay there. You're
that's
okay
good.
there.
I'll take that.
All right.
First of all, I'm just going to go ahead and reset your initiative because right now you're not in a battle anymore because the rats are scurrying behind you.
Great. In that case, I stand up. So do we want to move these crates around? See what else is back here?
I'm going to wait to see what this individual in front of me is going to do here. I'm very suspicious of everybody here. I don't trust any of y'all rat killers.
Well, what's everybody's names? Did this person sit over here take any damage from the falling crates? Oh, you did from the rat, right?
She did take any damage from her rat.
It's me.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you're the only one who took damage from a rat so far. No, she didn't take any damage from the fall.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna come up over here and I'm going to like peek through. You said it's almost enough to crawl through.
Yeah, if you're small enough, you can crawl through it.
I want to go through just enough to see what's on the other side.
Okay, so you're just like creeping through a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start creeping through, and you get a little bit of a scope of what's right in front of you.
Is that the same? Is that the same rat? Is it still glowing with my fairy fire?
No, that is a completely different rat.
Okay, so there's at least 2 rats. I'm telling the people behind me this.
Okay.
Should I
I'm
keep going a little
embarrassed.
further? What do you guys think? I'm gonna go a little further.
Ooh, okay.
So you're gonna go
And
in.
I can peek through this one over here.
Can I see more now?
Yeah, so you see this going on right now, and you both see this.
Ooh, we got some rats. Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna pop over here to these bottles. Are these empty or are these full?
They're full.
They're corked.
They're full.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab one of these bottles and shove it in my pack.
Okay.
Thief.
I'm gonna just make a side note. Why don't you go ahead and add yourself a bottle of wine in your pack?
Okay.
Weighs 1 pound.
Mm.
Elderberry wine, to be exact.
Ooh, that sounds delightful. All right. And I can still move, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it my 2 actions right there?
Wait, did you move from the corner? Oh yeah, you already moved a little bit. So that's pretty much your action, your free action.
Okay.
So just to let you guys know, you guys are peeking through these holes, but these rats do see you now. They see your heads poking through these crates because they're the ones that made these holes, and they can see you crawling right through them. I'm gonna need you all to roll initiative again right now.
Can I calm their emotions real quick?
You could attempt it.
How does that work?
It's okay, ratty bats. Oh, they have to be humanoid.
Oh, it says they have to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
But I feel
Those rats
oddly
tell you to
feeling-
screw off. Go ahead. And what you don't see, well, what you see now charging through from the back of the larder is something pretty massive that you did not expect to see in a larder in the first place because they're not really found in bars.
Oh. That looks very sweet.
So, Wick, you're the first to go. Just to let you know, Wicked Dust, you are currently at a disadvantage because you are stuck in a crate.
Ah. Okay. Well.
So if you wanna get out now, I would get out now.
Can I go through the rest of the way, or is it big enough for me to go through the rest of the way, or?
You're both you're both small enough to fit.
I'm gonna scoot back. Can I push the crates over?
Yeah, you could attempt to. Yeah, you could attempt to.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
All right.
Do I need to roll something?
Yeah, I want you to do a strength check, please.
Oh, that's not gonna go very well.
Oh.
Wow.
All right, those crates tumble forward, and basically, I'll draw this so you can see. They tumble right here and collide on this rat here. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll a little damage roll for it. Wow. So you basically smash that rat, and it's crushed under the weight.
Wick smash.
So that rat basically explodes under the weight of that.
Like a beefcake.
That's your turn, right, Wick?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so it is up to Nim now. Oh, sorry, Dust.
Yeah.
I would like to use the cantrip that I can never pronounce, prestidigitation.
Right.
Prestidigitation. To create like a loud, scary sound, right? Let's see if I can, like somewhere in this neighborhood here, to see if I can make all of those rats run away in fear. So I'll just make like a really loud, like smacking crash right there.
Okay. I will do. Oh, what type of check should I do for that? Oh. I don't even know what I should check for that. Is there even a check?
Wisdom?
Yes.
Well, I think it would be wisdom to see if, like,
yeah.
I believe if that sound is real or something like that.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna do wisdom.
Or that the rats believe, yeah.
Yeah.
How wise are you, rats?
It's really kind of just stunned a little bit. It doesn't move, but it's kind of looking around and like, what the hell is that? It's not moving forward towards you. It's kind of just shocked that that sound disappeared.
Cool. And maybe that'll give me a chance to wriggle free with my move action.
I'm just gonna do the Rat King too, because I'm assuming it's right in front of the Rat King also. So
yeah.
So there's Rat King. So that Rat King does a beeline right to the back, and he runs away a little bit. He's like, "Whoa, that was loud. Do not like that."
Hooray!
Nicely done.
And I assume it'll take the rest of my action just to get out of the box.
Yeah. Okay, and Nim.
All right. Well, I'm actually going to try to prove myself to these two strangers, and I'm going to rush forward because these boxes have toppled, right?
Yeah, they're down. Yeah, you could go through them.
Okay. So I'm going to rush forward right here, and I'm going to attack the closest giant rat with my light crossbow.
Okay, so the injured one right in front of you?
Yes.
That crossbow bolt misses. It hits the crate right next to the rat.
Right. I have not proven myself to the strangers. Well.
Okay, so
I look at both of them and say, that was intentional. Shadow.
So
okay, Batman.
So the one rat that was injured is still not really wanting to be involved with all this, and it sort of makes a beeline to where that Rat King was. The rat you stunned earlier kind of breaks out of that stun and charges forward and tries to bite at you again. Gonna go ahead and bite you.
I dodge. I do dodge.
Yeah, that bite just misses completely. And coming up next are the Rat King, seeing how that noise originated from nowhere, also charges forward and tries to take a bite of you as well. So let me just get that open.
Yike!
So that Rat King was quite angry that you cast that spell at it. Its jaws are basically almost as big as you are, and when it chomps down, it rips through the whole side of your body and pulls out a giant chunk of flesh right from under your armor.
That's nasty, man. Rats are gross. Sidebar question, is that 8 damage and 4 of it is piercing, or is it a total of 12 damage?
It's a total of it's 8 plus 4
Okay.
piercing, so a total of 12.
Oof.
So I think you're down to 7.
7.
Yeah.
Ouchie.
And now we're back to Dust.
Great. My turn. Thunder wave, thunder wave. We're gonna cast thunder wave. All right, so Rat King and Little Rat next to me gotta make a Constitution save.
Constitution save? Okay. This is the Rat
Yeah.
King. It was the first one.
Yee. All right.
So yeah, they both are hurting.
So they both take that 9 damage, and they get pushed back by an amount that I will tell you very shortly, and it is 10 feet.
Yes. So that rat gets pushed back, and Rat King is pretty much one rat exploded from that thunder wave, and its fur and bits and pieces are just scattered everywhere. The Rat King itself
Well, that's gross.
is its fur is basically on fire right now from that thunder shock, and it is really reeling and is just running away.
Bye.
Now we're on to Wick.
Okay, so what do the crates that are in front of me look like? Can I just
Well,
walk over?
those crates are it's a pile of debris right now. You
Okay,
can
then
pretty
I'm
much walk over.
gonna climb over and use cure wounds on dust.
Well, thank you, kindly stranger.
Teamwork.
I lay my hands on your shoulder.
Nope, it's weird now.
She denies
I draw my
her cure wounds.
Shoulder on your shoulder.
She denies her cure wounds.
You're bleeding.
It's supposed to happen like that. I meant to do that.
And that's me. That's it for me.
Oh, and it was for 9. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so up to Nim.
All right. Nim's going to go ahead and rush forward as well. And we're going to do a bit of Thunder Wave. Wait, can I move one more? Yeah. All right. I'm going to do some Thunder Wave as well. We're going to try to finish these guys off.
Thunder wave, thunder wave. It's the Thunder Wave theme song.
Okay, so that is the giant rat king. Your lightning bolts basically just go all around him, but he's still scared from the last shock, so he's just cowering in the corner. And the other little rat also just runs away completely. He's running over to the side.
I am not meant to kill these rats.
They get half damage
What's that?
on a failed save.
Do they get half
Let's
damage? What's
see.
Thunder Wave?
Yeah, on a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't pushed. Half of 11
Oh, so half,
rounded
okay.
down.
So that'll blow up both of them then, if that's the case. So they
Gross. Why do they keep blowing up? These are exploding rats. It's nasty.
keep casting lightning bolts at them, so these two rats are now, unfortunately,
Lightning bolt.
thanks to Nim, they have exploded all over him, and their fur and blood are all over Nim. So the
I
rats.
wear it legally.
So with that rat explosion, you don't hear any more rats, but you hear a humming further down in the larder. You're not sure what it is, but it's from where you are, Nim. You're getting a peek through the darkness as to what's going on.
Okay.
I attack the darkness.
So through the darkness, you see these two skeletal creatures, but they're not looking at you. They're just swaying back and forth as if they're looking at something in front of them. You don't see what it is, but something's there. The skeletons don't notice you. Their backs are to you, and they're, like I said, they're just swaying back and forth as if they're in a trance.
I don't like that. All right. Is it my
So are
turn?
we out of?
Yeah, you're out of initiative right now. So
Oh, okay, okay.
these skeletons don't realize you're even there. They've completely oblivious to what's happened in this larder. They're just completely focused.
So that's my banging stealth check. I am gonna come up to like right here, sneakily.
Okay, yeah, they don't
See if I can see what they're staring at.
Okay. So you're right behind them, right? So what you see right now.
Yeah, I'm like 2 squares behind.
So right behind them it looks like the same globe that you guys brought with you to this journey, but the thing is this one's shattered on the ground and it seems to be seeping this liquid that was in the globe before and is making like a black puddle on the ground that the skeletons are kind of like touching with their feet, and they just seem to be ensnared by this, whatever this liquid is. And the orb's completely black. It's not like yours. Yours still has a little bit of light left in it, but this one is completely shattered.
I'm thinking I need to like throw my wine lit up. Is wine super flammable? Can I make like a Molotov cocktail with wine? Can you do that?
I would assume so.
I don't.
Alcohol
This is
cocktail?
like medieval wine. This is like
This is going to be fact checked by viewers. Viewers, can you fact check if we can make a Molotov cocktail with wine?
getting like the wine thing. All right.
That I don't know.
According to a 5-second Google search.
Yes, we have our fact checker right here.
Da-da-da. Wine and Warfare, Part 14.
By the way, for the viewers, I just got to show off this really cool hat. Little cat astronauts.
That's cute.
Flurker
I like it.
astronaut in space.
So
I'm going to assume
Apparently,
basement wine is highly flammable. So what I'm going to do is
it's actually
go ahead and-
moonshine.
It's actually moonshine. Yeah. This elderberry wine it comes from a very flammable bush, the elderberry bush, which, as we know, is the bush that was on fire. It was the burning bush. It was the elderberry bush because it just burst into flames in the Bible because of even the smallest amount of heat. And this is actually true. The smallest amount of heat on elderberries will actually cause the fluid inside the elderberries to expand and contract rapidly, causing a lot of friction inside, and they'll actually smoke. And when it smokes, it actually ignites some of the leaves.
This has been Science Corner.
I just made that up, but you know what? It works for the story. So,
but the question is,
The delivery was solid.
what are you going to light these bottles up with?
with my tinderbox,
Okay, good.
I'm
Glad you had one.
going to take a piece of my shirt, a piece of my cloth shirt, and I'm going to rip a piece off, exposing more of my Adventure Time tattoos, and I'm going to shove it into the neck of the bottle, and I'm going to get my tinderbox ready. I'm going to go ahead and light the match, getting ready to throw this thing. Because, guys, I don't think this orb with the black goo is a good thing. I think this is bad news. No perception check needed.
So you're lighting this bottle
I'm
up?
lighting it.
Right.
But
You're not throwing it yet? You're just lighting it?
Should I throw it? What do you guys think? I look at both of my companions, whom I've grown to respect more now that I've seen them help each other out. My heart is warmed. My cold, emotionless heart is warmed a little bit by Wick's healing touch, awkward healing touch.
Yeah, and I look over at you and I say, so you're just going to burn the pub down?
And there's Wick coming through with the logic once again.
You
I like this guy.
You hear Elaria one more time. Are you guys okay down there?
Everything's
fine.
Don't burn down my pub!
I smell smoke!
Don't light the match!
So I'm getting a yes. I'm inching the match closer and closer to the fabric. Yeah.
I use prestidigitation to fill the air with gentle harp music. For no reason at all.
I'm going to go check on Elaria.
Excuse you, this is a team activity.
All right, so what I do is I light it and I chuck it right at
Oh
the
my
orb.
god.
Actually, I am running upstairs to get a pitcher of water.
I'm ready with another thunder wave to like put out this fire.
We have water skins. It's okay.
Okay, I need you to do a dexterity check right now.
Oh,
All right.
dear.
It's gonna be so good.
Okay, all
A
right.
lot of wet towels, please.
All right, so I'm assuming are you lighting it or are you tossing it?
I'm lighting it and I'm tossing it directly at this orb of death.
Okay, so you toss a bottle, it flies through the air, and it lands with a crash right in the middle of these crates and on the orb. The skeletons themselves, I'm going to have them do, I guess, like, I don't know, what kind of check? Wisdom? Constitution, maybe? What would be a good check for fire?
Probably Constitution.
Constitution, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, they're at disadvantage, so they both completely get smothered by this.
Okay.
And I'm gonna award you 2d8 for this concoction. So one of them takes 7, one of them takes 4. So you got.
Do skeletons know how to stop, drop, and roll?
They do not.
They only know how to stand and sway.
So right now the skeletons are standing in this ball of flame that's just smothering them, but the orb is just not affected at all. It's just sitting there. But now the skeletons turn to face you, knowing that something was just tossed at them, and they're looking right at you. And
I point at Whip.
and now we roll initiative for this.
I come running back in with wet towels.
Okay, so
I
everyone,
tie mine around my neck like a cape.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, it's a tie. Let's fight.
right. So
What's your dex, Sean?
Yeah, that's your
What?
dex.
What's that?
What's your dexterity score?
14.
Okay, I win. Ha.
All right, so Dusty, go ahead.
Crap, I hadn't thought about what to do. I haven't gotten a chance to viciously mock anything yet, so I viciously mock those skeletons for being all empty of organs. Burn. I viciously mock the skeleton directly in front of me for a whole 2 damage, unless he can make a wisdom save, or she, or they.
So the first skeleton is taken aback and is like, "How dare you!" and just turns away. The other skeleton looks at you, and it basically just starts weeping uncontrollably.
Oh my gosh.
And it's weird to see skeleton tears, but this skeleton's actually crying at what you said to it, and it takes 2 damage. And so its bones are just crumbling beneath him.
Feels good. I'm proud.
Wick.
Okay, well, I climb over all of this stuff. Is there a state of the fire? Like, is there fire on the screen?
No, the fire's only
I'm
contained.
really concerned about this pub, you guys. You don't understand.
The fire's contained
We didn't
to this
start the
area.
fire.
I'm gonna go ahead and draw where the
The
fire is.
pub was burning since the world
Fire's
was
right
turning.
here. This is where the fire is right now.
We didn't start this fire.
Okay.
So
All right.
here's your fire.
Cool, we're gonna try and fight it.
Okay, so I run up and take one of the towels that's in my hand because it's already in my hand, and I slap a big wet towel around the skeleton's head.
Hey, why don't you do a dexterity check for me?
Okay.
The most creative of us all. Slapping people with wet towels.
So when you wrap
one of those whoosh kind of slaps.
when you wrap this towel around the skeleton, you wrap it around his head, and the head just spins around on its neck, and then settles back behind it, so his head is facing its butt, and it just stares at you, and it's still crying from what Dust just said to it, and it's like it doesn't know what to expect, and it just takes a step to the left, and it's just still crying while his head is just spinning. It's trying to readjust his head, but it's not working.
I feel like 10% bad now.
I am about to cry myself.
These
So-
poor skeletons.
I'm glad we're getting to some deep
Sean-
emotional places in this episode.
I think Sean's onto something. I don't think these skeletons are enemies here. I think.
Hmm.
Well, one
I
skeleton
don't
walks
think you
away.
should have thrown that elderberry wine.
Can we see a little bit better what's going on now
Yeah.
that there's fire lighting up the room?
Yeah, I'm actually lighting it up right now. So this is what's going on right now.
Okay.
So beyond the flames, you see something lying on the floor. It's shiny and tiny, but it's beyond where the orb is. The first skeleton that you insulted and made his head twist around is walking away from the situation, but the other skeleton goes for Dust, who said some really nasty things about his family and didn't appreciate it.
I said organs. Organs.
Well,
That skeleton.
that skeleton-
And the not having.
that skeleton used to have a heart, and you broke it. So it
But
attacks.
it doesn't anymore. That's the point.
Well, it rolls a 7, and I'm sure it doesn't hit because
I died.
it is so frustrated it can't connect. So, moving on to Nim.
All right. Well, following in my new friend Wick's footsteps, I rush up to the skeleton and pour the contents of my water skin on top of it to douse the flames. Is this one on fire? This one's on fire, right?
Yes, they're still sizzling a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So you douse his flames, but it's still angry. It's not happy about what was said to it earlier. It's still heartbroken. It doesn't care that you put out his flames, and it's looking at you. It's looking at you as if you said the same things too. It is not happy in general.
What the heck, Skelly? I'm trying to help you.
Right,
All right.
back to Dust.
I'm causing all the problems. I am gonna go like right here. And I'm gonna cast some Thunder Wave again at the orb and at this fire here to see if I can sort of like blow the fire out and maybe
Hmm.
screw up this orb a little more. See if I can stop the awfulness from pouring from it. I mean, I don't really know how the orb will make a Constitution save.
I'm assuming you're affecting the skeleton too, right next to you, obviously, because it's like right by you.
Behind me, though. It's directional.
Oh, okay.
Can you
funny.
describe the orb just a little bit one more time? Like,
It's basically the same orb that you guys were carrying around, but this one's shattered and is pitch black and is seeping this liquid that has turned black around it.
and how big is it?
It's like a snow globe, like the same size one you have.
Okay.
It looks big on that image just because I can't shrink it any further than it is right now. So it looks gigantic. Yeah, so that thunder wave does absolutely nothing to the orb.
It doesn't throw it back into the.
No, that thing it's basically weighted down to the ground as if this
Wow.
black sludge has like tarred it to the earth.
Gross.
Hmm.
Don't like.
As this thunder wave connects with the orb begins to shake to pieces. Something starts fizzling out of it, but it hasn't formed completely, whatever it is. But it looks like it's trying to come back together, the pieces.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
So now we're moving on to Wick.
Well, I'm gonna help it. I push past Dust and I use Mending on the orb. Because it seems like the awfulness is coming out because it's broken. So I'm going to mend this thing. Can I do that?
Yeah, so when you cast Mending, the orb comes together again as if the two pieces are together, but the crack forms again almost immediately and breaks apart again.
Okay. I tried.
But as you did this, it shimmered for a second and lit up as if what was inside that is black is now lighting up again.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now it's the skeleton's turn. So the skeleton is going to attack the person who decided to douse its flames. Because it did
You're
not
welcome.
appreciate
You're
that. but it misses.
Yeah.
The other skeleton is still on fire and taking damage from being on fire. So I'm going to roll a d8 again. Oh, he actually burns. So this skeleton actually burned to the ground because he was on fire. So the skeleton is now dead.
All right.
So moving on to Nim.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this orb if I can. I don't know if I can pick it up. Can I pick it up?
If you want to.
I want to pick it up, and I want to try to hold it together and see what happens.
All right, so you reach for the orb, and as soon as you touch it, it forms again into a solid shape, and the crack seals. The whole room starts to tremble and shake, and the skeleton beside you actually explodes. You don't know why, but it just literally shatters. Let me go ahead and shatter him. So that shatters. You hear something roar through the walls of the tavern. You have no idea what it is. But
Not a good thing.
As you touch it and you grab it and you hold it up to your chest, something appears before you. Something you know is familiar to you, but you don't know what it is until it looks you right in the eye. It comes in front of you, and you just look at it, and you know immediately what it is. This is something from one of your stories that you created.
It is.
It's staring at you, but it's not doing anything, and it's just looking at you.
All right. Can I approach it? Do I have any other like?
Yeah, it's not being threatening. It's looking only at you.
Okay. I look into its eyes, and I tell it. I say, "I know you," since I do recognize it, and I try to gauge its reaction.
So it stares right back at you, and as soon as it appears, it disappears. But in its place is a mystical dice that just lands at his feet.
Awesome.
Could we see what it was?
You saw something, but you didn't know what it was. To you, it just appeared as shadows.
Okay.
Okay. But they can see the mystical dice, right?
They see the dice on the floor, though, now.
Okay.
Oh, and the orb you touched shattered in your hand and is no longer there.
Oh, okay.
You have 1,000 tiny cuts.
Little shards are stuck in your skin, and you're screaming in pain.
Ah!
I look at my palms and go, ah. Looking at Wick because I know he can heal my wounds.
I cast Healing Word on him.
I know before I even ask that Wick's just going to shake his head and be like, "You did this to yourself." So,
So you're gonna touch that shiny thing on the ground there?
I feel like we should. I feel like
Since you're the designated picker up of strange objects that might kill you.
Perhaps we should all three reach for it at the same time. You know,
That's a sweet idea. Not gonna do it.
Sean, you with me? You with me,
No,
Sean?
you go for it. The thing appeared to you.
All
you
right.
go for it.
Well
All right,
played.
so I'm going to pick up the mystical floating dice of mystery.
Okay, so as soon as you pick it up, it flies out of your hand and rolls on the ground, and it starts rolling around in circles. So you can see it rolling around all across the larder until it lands in front of you, and the number on the dice actually fades away. Now, hearing the commotion downstairs, Elaria comes running down, and she's approaching all of you, and she sees the damage that you've caused to her. Her eyes are just like, "What the heck happened down here?"
Everything's fine.
She looks at the floor.
I've got the one talent. I'm beating out the fire. It's okay. It's okay.
Give me one of those.
I turn to her and say, "Did you know skeletons can breathe fire?" They can.
So Elaria comes up behind you and she picks up the dice and she looks at it and her eyes just widen for a second as if she can't believe what she's looking at. And she says, "It's the dice of Dungeons and Drafting. All who create at one time or another have been questioned by this dice. It seems that you three are next." So she's lost in thought for a second, and she's holding this dice, and she puts it in her pouch, and she basically stares at you and runs back to the stairwell. She pauses at the entrance. She's like, "You'll need to go to the library to decipher this. I can't understand the message on this dice. Just quickly and follow me and meet me there." So she races out of the tavern and onto the streets, and you could hear a commotion coming on from upstairs. She leaves you in the crossroads, leaving you to wonder what's in store and what's behind this mystical dice that you've discovered in the larder. And thus ends episode 1 of Dungeons and Drafting.
But I want to go to the library.
The library's next time.
Oh, that's exciting.
Libraries are great, people. Go see your local public library.
Go take out the books of your favorite authors.
All of the answers to the questions you have lie in the shelves of the library.
Mm-hmm.
So next time we'll find out what this dice is all about and what questions it's going to ask you.
Oh, that's great.
And this wraps episode 1 of Dungeons and Drafting. I am your DM, Tom Torre.
I'm Sean Easley.
I'm MK England.
And I'm Brooks Benjamin.
Wow. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Literally.
Dungeons Drafting.
Dungeons and Drafting. Dungeons and Drafting. Bye everyone.